open myself, sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the one. I open myself, sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the one. I'm opening, I'm opening, I'm opening, I'm opening. I open myself, sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the one. I open myself, sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the one. I'm opening, I'm opening, I'm opening, I'm opening. I open myself, sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the one. I open myself, sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the one. I'm opening, I'm opening, I'm opening, I'm opening. So I am open, and I know for each one here that they are easily able to open themselves to all the possibilities, to all the potential, to everything that is available to us as our birthright, as manifestations of the one. So, knowing that all that we hear, all that we experience, all that we think, everything that happens in this bubble of peace, tranquility, a place of refuge from anything which may bother you. It's all here. It's all peaceful. It's all here. I open myself in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the one. I open myself in sweet surrender to the luminous love light of the one. I'm opening, I'm opening, I'm opening, I'm opening, I'm opening, I'm
And that was an opening if there ever was.
That's right.
And so we open ourselves here today at the Center for Spiritual Living, Princeton. And look, I get to stand up here and look at all these wonderful faces. Thank you for being here today, and welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living, Princeton. And we are a loving, healing, and inclusive community which teaches and practices the principles of the science of mind for the well-being and spiritual growth of ourselves and the world.
Yay!
Yes, and that's who we are. And today, we have the wonderful fortune of hearing our practitioner, Jeff Starbuck. He's going to give us a talk on the fourth kingdom. And this is very appropriate for Easter. We come here to remind ourselves of the spiritual principles, and that's what we're welcoming ourselves to. So next week, Reverend Karen Kushner, who was our minister here for many years, will be speaking on the difference between getting your good or getting the consciousness of your good.
Oh.
So, and Karen is a wonderful speaker, so I'm really looking forward to hearing what she has to say about that. And we welcome you here. This Sunday morning is a time for us to be together, either physically or live streamed on Facebook. Welcome everybody at home. And a time to just stop and remind ourselves of who we are, what this teaching teaches us, gives us, because this teaching is not a Sunday morning teaching, as I've often said. It's a way of each one of us engaging with our lives from spirit, whatever that means, from a deeper place within and creating better lives for ourselves and for the world. So, welcome again to the Center for Spiritual Living Princeton. We're very happy that you're here. And Reverend Rich, take it away.
I am alive, I am alive, I am alive in this world. I am alive, I am alive, I am alive in this world. And I shine, and I shine, and I shine so bright. And I shine, and I shine, and I shine so bright. You are alive, you are alive, you are alive in this world. You are alive, you are alive, you are alive in this world. And you shine, and you shine, and you shine so bright. And you shine, and you shine, and you shine so bright. We are alive, we are alive, we are alive in this world. We are alive, we are alive, we are alive in this world. And we shine, and we shine, and we shine so bright. And we shine, and we shine, and we shine so bright.
Good morning. My name is Gary Torres, and I am a licensed practitioner here at the Center for Spiritual Living, Princeton. This is the time of the year when everybody in the Northern Hemisphere starts celebrating newness and regrowth and revitalization of what seemed to be dead or faded a few months ago, a month ago. And this is a time that we all should be celebrating, should understand that that newness, that regrowth, that regeneration is something that is going on with everybody's life. Everywhere, everything changes, and everything changes, we believe, for the better. It might take a little while to get there, but it changes for the better in the long run, and all things work together for good. So this is where we start today, and I want to do a brief spiritual mind treatment about that. I know that there is only one mind, one love, one heart that is universal and lives forever. That this being, this presence is everywhere within each and every one. It is written that God breathed the breath of life into Adam, and this is the one life. This is the one life that all of us experience. It comes from the one source, the one being, whatever you want to call it, the one presence and awareness. I know that that being is within each and every one of us, and that each and every one of us is therefore creative, loving, beautiful in our innermost being. And no matter what seems to be happening, no matter what seems to be going on in the world or in our personal lives, this is who and what we are. We are the children of the one, the one being, or you can even say we are collectively the one, but that one goes far beyond just human beings. It's all of nature, it's all of the cosmos. And knowing that this is so and that everything is working together for good, we thank that spirit and know that it has always been this way, will always be this way, and so it is.
Many pray along the way, they don't stop to wonder. The world is coming to there's something higher. They feel the way to greater love. Oh yeah, so the world is telling me, sing of liberation for the ones who are not free. Love can take us higher. We feel the way to higher love. Yeah, so we let it wash over us, we let it make us kinder, we let it make us better, we let it early in the morning, we let it together, we let it out forever, we let it be, we let it. Just some cry along the way, walking through this sadness for the world that needs to grow. Love can take us higher. We feel the way to greater love. Oh yeah, the truth is telling me this answer to all humanity. We can stay inspired. We feel the way to higher love. Yeah, so we let it wash over us, we let it make us kinder, we let it early in the morning, we let it put us together, we let it out forever, we let it be, we let the love of us, yes, we let it be. We let the peace wash over us. We let it be joy. We let the joy wash over us. Yes, we let it be. We let it be. We let it be.
Bravo.
Introducing, not for the first time, or more than the first time, the one and only licensed practitioner and man who's truly connected, Jeff. That's right.
Jeff Starbuck.
Jeff Starbuck.
Thank you. Thank you, Reverend Rich, for the music, and Gary, and John, and everybody else who's here, and all of the people who may be on the way, and any of those who want to be here. I'm Jeffrey Starbuck, and I'm talking about the Fourth Kingdom. A subtitle maybe is that you benefit by recognizing the one truth underlying all things. It may sound kind of dry or academic, but actually it's not. I intend to make it interesting, even juicy. So that we come to have a deeper understanding and embodiment and direct experiencing of this truth. And what is this one truth? Well, it's really what this teaching, Science of Mind, is all about, is based on. It's the first step called recognition that all spiritual mind treatments have, that we do here, the first step. And what is recognition? Well, it is that we come to experience it in a palpable and directly felt way. That which can be called God, that which can be called the divine, the universe, we can call it love, light, divine light, the divine, Yahweh, Allah, the Tao, Brahman, many other names. Every sacred tradition on the planet has a name or many names for it. And everyone is completely free to use their own name. I like to call it source energy. Ernest Holmes, our founder, referred to it occasionally as the thing. 2 of the books that he wrote have that in the title, This Thing Called Life and This Thing Called You. Now, to begin with, we want to recognize that source, God, the thing, isn't really a thing at all. Meaning it isn't a fixed form. It isn't something that we could call an object. An object is something which is distinct, which has form and shape, which may be visible or not. The planet Jupiter is an object, the sun is an object, our thoughts are objects, all ideas are objects. Everything invisible and everything energetic is an object of sort in terms of what we're talking about here. But this is not, and we are objects, and this is not to denigrate us. This is just to kind of to define the terms. We're separate, identifiable things, forms. Existence. Everything in existence is an object, a thing. Oxygen, an idea. God's source is not an object. It's not a thing. Grammatically speaking, God is a noun, that English word. However, God really isn't. It would be much more accurate to call it a verb, because it's not something which is fixed. A verb is moving. We almost can't meaningfully talk about these things using our ordinary language, but we have to. And going further, we're human beings, and as human beings, we make sense of and understand God in human terms. So even though God is not a human being, we can think of it in human terms, making use of human feelings and reference. That's how we relate to it. That's how we relate to everything because we're human beings. And source isn't a person. That's just the same thing as a human being. But since we are persons, we can have a personal relationship with it. One word that we can use is formless. God is formless, but in the same way but not in the way that oxygen or other gases are formless, or the thoughts are formless. I want to say that this God, is as close to being some sort of unimaginable, phantasmagorical magic as you can imagine. We have to use words, but we're referring to something that is the maker of words, the originator of words, the originator of all language, that precedes language, all language. It's useful for us to use our logic in thinking about source, not as a way of limiting it, but as a way of trying to grasp and comprehend its incomprehensibility and its ungraspability. We can use language and reason as to be guided to a point where when we transcend language, which all of us have done, even if we didn't call it that at the time or didn't think of it that way. We're talking about the thing that made and makes all things, the original manufacturer. And I say makes because everything, including us, is continually being made. And is not, God didn't make us in the universe and then leave the scene. This thing, this maker, this creator remains present in and as this whole creation. And from what are we made? We're made out of that. We're made out of, I don't want to overuse the word God. If I do, just forgive me. Source makes us out of itself. Think about that. Think for a moment about something that makes something else out of itself. Something invisible and formless, i.e. the divine, makes something visible and full of form out of itself, the entire creation. I want us to be thinking about this in a new way, outside of ordinary categories and ways of thinking, outside of thinking as usual. It's worthwhile doing as a way of stretching our imagination, our minds, as a way of transcending current limitations in thinking in categories and boxes, and becoming bigger, of moving into a different and higher frequency, a higher dimension, which is what the spiritual path is all about. We can experience things that we can't fit into language, that language can't contain or express all of, or express completely. The philosopher Alfred North Whitehead has written, "The difficulty of language is the expression of that which is self-evident." The difficulty of language is the expression of that which is self-evident. We are made out of God, by God, and by a God process, which we could put an ing at the end. It's called God-ing. This intelligence, the maker, remains present in the made, in creation, which includes us. So all of the qualities, all of what that is, of what God is, are present in and all throughout us. Plus, there's the fact that we can be aware of what we're thinking. We can think about what we're thinking about, which distinguishes us from all other animals and forms of life as so far as we know. We have the power to think independently of existing circumstances. That means we can think about this next weekend, we can think about this morning, we can think about what we ate yesterday, the vacation we have or had. So this self-consciousness is God being conscious as us. But we're not a second power. We're not separate. We're not a force that is competing with the divine. We are the power of the divine being present individually as us. We are not now and have never been separate or apart from the Creator, even when we don't believe it. Even if we don't even think about God. Even if we say we don't believe in God. God never left. Couldn't leave. And we can't be apart from it. Even when we're at our worst or our most disconnected. We can maybe disconnect from it in a certain sense. But we can't go to the bathroom or the bar room or the courtroom or the honeymoon room and leave it behind. It goes with us everywhere. And here the plot thickens. And this is the most essential and juiciest part. It's accurate to describe God as awareness or consciousness or mind. And so since we all share what God is, so necessarily it's the case that its awareness is our awareness. Think about that. Its awareness is our awareness. You're all aware, right? You're being aware right now. Raise your hand, Jeff, just for a moment. You're aware that your arm is up in the air. You can bring it down now if you want. sure you can hold up there. This awareness that you call yours, that you call you, is in fact the divine being aware as you, through the form, the name and form that you are, the nama and the rupa. It isn't that God is taking over and shoving you out of the way. It's that what you think of as you has actually always been God being aware as you. There isn't really a you outside of that or external to that. There's no part of you that is independent, separate. There's just God. And we can call it the ineffable, we can call it the mystery. It is a mystery. It's wonderful. It's a delight. Your awareness, your individual awareness, is that being used right in this instant to listen to my voice. Your awareness of seeing, your awareness of sensation, your awareness of thinking. The awareness of source operating in the thing you call yourself right now. You're it. We're all it. We've always been it and will always be. Your individual awareness is simply God's awareness particularized in a particular way as you. When you have a flashlight and you turn it on, the light shines. The light that's shining in one flashlight is the same as the light shining in any other flashlight. It isn't a different light. There are different individual flashlights, but the light is coming from each is the same. There's only one light. All light is the same. You can't divide light. The sun is, well, it really is light. It's shining light, we say, it's our language. The light is indivisible. You can block it in one place. You can have a window, 2 windows on a wall, which we have here, and the light shines through each window, but the light is still one. It appears that there are 2 lights, but that's just a creationist, a sense of creation. This divine is light. It's undivided and undividable. And you're indivisible from it. And your awareness is indivisible from that same unbroken, unbreakable field. And every individualization is unique. Each and every human being is one of a kind, completely unique, never before existing. Each one of you is completely unique. And that's okay. That's cool. And that's the way it is. I'm sorry to tell you. Or not,
That's important.
Everyone has in common that they're inseparable and in fact identical in essence with the Creator. I think that's kind of amazing and spectacular to recognize, to feel, to know, to spend some time contemplating and meditating on. God is not only in us, God is as us. Another metaphor, a water hose carries water, right? It's carrying water. Well, in this in this analogy, there's the hose and the water. In using this analogy now, that which is channeling the water is itself water. That which is channeling spirit is itself spirit. There isn't a flow and that which is holding or directing the flow. It's all of one piece, of one color. In Buddhism, and there's an expression of one taste. God is not only moving through you, but God is that through which it is moving. Now we have to remember that each one of us, being completely unique and separate, that so are all of the other 8 billion human beings on this planet. Every single one is an individualization of the all, of the Spirit. Let's go a little bit further. There's a Sufi saying, when you know that God knows everything, you're free. When you know that God knows everything, you're free. If God knows everything, what happens to my personality, my personal history, my preferences, uniqueness of me? What about free will? Well, your uniqueness, your particular essence, that the you that makes you you, that you is actually the divine as you, God as you. So the you that is thinking that you are you, there's going to be a quiz on this later. There's going to be the you that is thinking that you are you is in fact God being you, being the you that thinks you're you. This doesn't have to be seen as a disappointment or a loss. Nothing has changed. It's always been that way. We're still completely ourselves in these perfect, fun, individualized things we are, beings we are, with all of our foibles and our fun and our everything else. To really know and accept and embody this truth, some contemplation, some study, some meditation, some practice is required. We have to think about it, to mull it over in order to digest it or do, and that practice doesn't have to be what we call of thought. It can be a practice of movement, a practice of harmonizing, a practice of being in nature, any practice of crocheting or sewing. That's actually can actually be a very sort of integrating practice. It sort of works. It works backwards. I mean, it's working. We have absolutely no less freedom than before. In fact, now we're freer. And free will, absolutely we have free will, the same as before. The caution is that we have to use our free will wisely. We don't have to, but if we want to be happy, we have to. There are consequences to actions. That's the law of cause and effect, the law of action and reaction. That's what this dimension is about. There's no escaping or getting around the law of these laws. We have to learn to be diligent with our attention. And there's no reason to get freaked out about this. We must do this in whatever way we do it. Dualism and non-dualism, just some more terms. We're all one is an expression of the non-dual. Another variation, we're not two. There's the Sanskrit word advaita, which means not two, or non-dual. Dualism means it's what the world of form is. It's black and white. It's one team that wins the Super Bowl. Only one individual wins an election. Good, evil, so on and so forth. There's nothing wrong with this. That's how the human world works. We all have to make choices all the time. That's how it should be. In one sense, this entire talk is about the difference between, in one way of speaking, the difference between dualism and non-dualism and how they work together. Pardon me. To really understand and grasp what God is, we have to be able to toggle back and forth between dualism and non-dualism within ourselves in terms of the language we use and the way we are understanding. We are conditioned by this is true for everyone, we're conditioned by our language. I speak English, that's basically the only language I speak. I know some Sanskrit and other few terms, but it's the only language I speak. So I'm conditioned by that. If you speak only Swahili, you're conditioned by that. If you speak only German or whatever. I sometimes, I'm not going to be doing this, and that's okay. But to be somebody who knows like 5 or 6 or 7 languages, it seems very interesting to me because that would be because I think in English. I don't think in Romanian, in Italian. I use my hands, but I don't.
Or Italian.
Language is dualistic. A fluidity of mind is necessary to be able to understand and comprehend these things. It's really, really, really true that the divine is right here, right now, as the activity of the thing you call yourself, your mind. The itch you have, the shifting position of you, the way it feels where you're sitting, the breath you're taking in. When you don't know, you don't have to be thinking about God in order for God to be present. This is important. Stated one way, God is always and only thinking about us, about you, about me. So much so that God doesn't care if you're not thinking about it, because it's not separate. All of these are just, it's language playing with itself. But it's helpful. But we think about, God is not concerned, in a sense, is not concerned with us. That doesn't mean it's not being us and getting juiced about in that process. So when you get that God as you, is right here 100%, or if there's more than 100%, that. Devoted and focused on you this very instant. The closer you come to recognizing that your happiness comes as you begin to consciously and intentionally recognize the God as you that you are. We begin to think the right thoughts. What are the right thoughts? Thoughts that are aligned, perceptions that are aligned with things as they are now. You take complete responsibility for all of your actions and decisions and what happens to you and what has happened to you, including when you have been a victim. This gets tricky, and actually we're not going to go into it because this is not the place for that. But how we respond to whatever has happened to us is our responsibility. This is the requisite path to becoming and being happier and experiencing your dreams becoming true, to manifesting. God is 100% devoted and focused on your neighbor and each and every other person also. And all of the people on this planet outside of this room, the people inside and the people outside. There's a lot more people outside of this room than inside this room.
Thank God.
And each of us is responsible for being and becoming the God as us that we are. Furthermore, when we are thinking, when we are feeling, we are using God. We are using this power. We are God individualized. And this God thing wants to be used. It wants to be used. It instilled, to speak one way, it instilled itself in as us so that it could do something. And it has something particular that it's doing, or a whole bunch of things that are particular to each and every person. I think it's amazing. So an accurate, my name is Jeff, and a more accurate name in one sense would be that this is God as Jeff, God as Jeff. God as Jeff. Deja as God. No, God as Deja. God as Margaret. God as Lori. God as Scott. God as Gary. That's a more accurate name in one sense. The more I am awakened to and aware of these things, then the more my thoughts, your thoughts, truly become God's thoughts in this world, and anything that has God behind it has the ultimate power. Thus, in you, operating as you, this God as you stands ready to create the most amazing world you can imagine. And your job is to imagine it. That's our job. To use our imagination to create. And we're creating things. We're creating vessels or whatever it is we are. And we must be being diligent with our intention, and we can do that. And there's a way we can do that. There's many ways we can do that. And it's difficult to think about controlling our self-critical thinking and so forth. But it can be done. It's not controlling it. We learn to train our minds differently, better, with diligence, with proper intention. We can successfully reprogram our minds, which really means our subconscious, subjective, unconscious mental fields. And here's where our work lies. But we're using this power of the entire creation, and it is blowing at our back. And that is very, 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 very useful to keep remembering and to train ourselves to keep remembering. You can benefit by clearly knowing and recognizing this one truth that underlies all existence. And the more you do that, the more you become in tune and attuned. And you're no longer simply a lone individual in a sea of other individuals, in a head filled with competing thoughts. There becomes a deeper knowing than the deepest ocean, and stronger than the strongest metal known to humankind. For when we know and embody this truth changes us. It changes us physically, molecularly, hormonally. It begins cleansing us. We begin becoming upgraded in ways that go far beyond the topic of today. And you can test it. Everything that's being said here, you can test in the field of your own, in your own laboratory, in the field of your experience. And don't take my word for it. And don't take Ernest Holmes' word for it, or Michael Beckwith's word for it, or anybody's word for it. Put it to the test. That's the thing. Put it to the test. You won't be disappointed. This path it's guaranteed, in a sense. I'm sorry to tell you, but it's guaranteed. It really is. It truly works. But the but is that you have to do your work. You have to make the requisite effort. And we do this with our attention and intention. And intention is the attention focused in a particular way. It's doable, because we only have to do it one moment at a time, one step at a time. We never have to do it all at once, because it's always now. It's always right now, always. And right now is the only time that we have to do it. This is the only moment we have to make an effort. It's always this moment, so we just have to take the next step. And then the next. And then the next. We just keep leaning forward, leaning gently forward in the direction we wish to go in. It doesn't require any kind of special skill beyond that. It doesn't really require any special courage, although, it depends on how we define that word. It just requires the right effort and the placement of that effort. When we're doing, you've noticed this, all of you, when we're doing something that we love doing, we don't notice the time. We lose track of time, so to speak. It's an interesting phrase. I like to think about these phrases, losing track of time. It can all become like that. And we can learn to do it. We really can. That's why we're here. That's why you come, we come to these services, go to classes. That's why we talk to practitioners, do reading, do practices, meditation, dancing, asanas, chanting. There are many practices, but the basic practice is what we're doing with our attention in this moment. God's attention as us, and it's always, always, always this moment. Think about it. So our objective should be, can be, to move continuously toward recognizing and embodying the truths spoken here, to do everything we can, anything we can, to remember these truths, which means not worrying about it when we don't do it, because God isn't worrying about it. God isn't ever worrying about anything. God is just busy, eagerly, patiently, lovingly, sublimely, powerfully waiting for the moment when we open the door. When we step forward, when we say yes. And it is, and we have this within us, it is infinitely forgiving. Even when we're not, it is infinitely always forgiving. Even when we're not. It doesn't hold a grudge. It's not keeping score. It doesn't have an anger management problem. It doesn't even have a memory in the sense that I'm speaking of that now. It's always only present. Right now, this thing, this God is eternal. And you know what it wants?
Love.
It wants to play. It wants love. It wants to dance. That's what it wants. As us. And as we dance with it, it will fill us with its love, its intelligence, its beauty, its movement, its harmony. Because it is us in the first place, and we are it. We are a perfectly amazing and spectacularly individualized versions of God, of all there is of source energy. Individualized in a particular pattern for a particular, and personality for a particular reason, each and every one of us. No one is excluded. No one is excluded. Absolutely no one is excluded. Everybody's in. So let's play. Let's dance. Let's make mistakes and be willing to make more mistakes and be willing to go easier on ourselves and learn and grow and allow this incredible energy that is already us to become fully active as us. Our very inmost, personal, individual, unique essence, the God as us, is here to manifest and shine forth and recognize others and be generous and loving and abundant and express our gifts and prosperous and healthy and do all the things we came into this life to do. So what do you say? You in?
Thank
We
you.
really don't have anything to lose, so let's do everything we can. Let's allow it to come, and let's go for it.
All right.
Okay.
Thank
you.
Jeff gives us a lot. And what we want to do is absorb that which we remember, we recall, because it's truth. And truth sets us free. So thank you, Jeff, for your wisdom, for taking us there, to making sure that we recall that there is no separation between that divine spirit and us. The creative process is in us. that creative process was given to us. That is us. Because like he said, it's Regina as God. It's Michelle as God. It's you guys as God. So thank you. Thank you for taking us to the fourth kingdom. That means there's a 1, 2, 3 that we gotta go through. But we'll get there. We'll get there. Thank you. And thank you, Gary, for your wonderful treatment, spiritual mind treatment. Much appreciated. Gary is gone. I'm going to say that. And thanks, John, for welcoming us and making sure that we understand who we are, inclusive, and it's God as John. So, and I'm abundance. So, let us enter into this offering in joy, because we are dealing with the principle of eternal abundance. Eternal abundance. This universe is never poor. This universe never runs out of leaves for trees. It never runs out of weeds for gardens.
Or flowers.
The universe is always abundant, always rich, always productive. We're aware of that. And so we allow ourselves to live that abundance. Like Reverend Michelle said last week, get behind me, Satan. Keep the limitations behind you, outside of you. Okay, so with that, I'm going to send around our offering band. So take it away, Reverend Rich.
Grateful, 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 oh, yes, grateful, 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 yes, so grateful. Grateful, grateful, it's so grateful. Grateful, 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 yeah, so grateful. Grateful, grateful, grateful.
Thank you. And yes, this is what some call Resurrection Day. Resurrection Day.
Yes.
So may we all resurrect out of our whatever into something greater than we are. So thank you very much.
Uh-huh. So it is.
So I'm doing this closing treatment for right now, for today, for this time. This word is being spoken for everybody here, everybody who's listening, anybody who's listening digitally in the future, what is so-called future, the so-called now. There is this one power which is really good, it's really big, it's also tiny, it's everywhere, it's in everything. It is good. It is spread out over the face of the earth, in all places. and it is infinitely forgiving, and it is infinitely creative, and it is creating as all of us. It is creating health and vigor and energy and the rest that's needed, and all of the resources and the money and the relationship, the connectedness that everybody desires. It is good. And any thought to the contrary, any belief to the contrary is now, by the power of this word, erased and dissolved. It's gone forever. The only thing that exists is this power, this amazing, stupendous, loving, gentle, powerful power. And it is very good. And it is in all of us, and it's doing its work, and that is good. And it is healing and correcting anything that needs to be rebalanced and corrected. And it's doing it right now. And I am so grateful, so grateful to know this, to have come into contact with this teaching. I'm so grateful to speak this, be able to speak this word and to speak it now. And please join me in saying, and so it is.
And so it is. All the time, guys.
The light of God is in the love. The light of God is in the love. The light of God is in the love. The light of God is in the light. The light of God is in the light. The light of God is in the light. Joy and joy. The light of God is in the joy. The light of God is in the joy. The light of God is in the joy. The